I'll give Ned another minute or so to join. Hope everyone's doing well. There he is. Okay. All right, I am calling meeting to order. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Planning Commission, March 23rd, 2022, 7 o'clock. Anyone online and wanting to make verbal public comments, you can go to the agenda and register on the link provided. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Awasti.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for what stands
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item, roll call. Ms. Medina.
Here.
Okay, I'll now take attendance. Good evening, everyone. Commissioner Albana,
Present.
Commissioner Awasti,
present.
Chair Chuan,
Present.
Vice Chair Ciardella,
Present.
Commissioner Galong, Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Here.
and Commissioner Mosen is still, she'll be absent this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Medina. Next item, conflict of interest declaration, City Attorney.
Thanks, Chair. Ask whether any of the commissioners have a financial or personal conflict of interest on any of the items before you tonight. I'll start with Commissioner Medina Ashby.
No.
Commissioner Awasti.
None.
Commissioner Galang, I don't think is here. Commissioner Albana.
None.
Vice Chair Ciardella.
None.
And Chair Chuan.
None.
Let the record reflect none of the commissioners present answered no to that question.
Thank you, City Attorney. Next item, approval of agenda. Does anyone have any comments or any changes? I'm getting kind of an echo. I'm just wondering if maybe we can go. It looks like it might be coming from you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Okay. Does anyone have any comments regarding the agenda for tonight? Okay, if there's no comments, can I get a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Okay, I got a motion from Commissioner Medina Ashby and Commissioner Awasti, seconded. So roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciardella. Vice Chair, you're on mute. Vice Chair, you're still on mute.
Aye.
Okay, and Chair Chuan is aye. 5-0, 5 present, 5 ayes and 2 absent. next item is approval of the minutes for March 9th, 2022. Does anybody have any of the commissioners have any comments or any corrections that need to be made for the meeting minutes for March 9th? If there are none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for March 9th?
Motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay, got a motion from Vice Chair Sierra. Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, second from Commissioner Medina Ashby. Roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti,
Aye.
Commissioner Albana,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciardella,
Aye.
Chair Chuan is aye. Motion passes. All right, next item is announcements. Any announcements from any of the commissioners?
Yes, I've got a comment.
Sure, go ahead, Vice Chair.
You know, our Chamber of Commerce is having a crab feed on April 1st. It's going to be over at the community center. It starts at 5:30. If you'd like tickets, you can call the chamber at 408-262-2613. Again, that's 408-262-2613. We'd like to have all the folks there to support the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ciardella. Any other commissioners have any announcements? Just for my comment, I know we recently had 3 commissioners attend the Planning Commissioners Academy. So I'd like to maybe hear from each of the commissioners and how things went. So.
Okay, I'll go first. I enjoyed it. There's a lot to learn. I enjoyed my time with Mercedes and Deepak. We got to know each other. I feel like we're best friends now. We met a lot of other planning commissioners, Southern California, Northern California, some close to home. What else? I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had a really good time.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Medina Ashby.
You're welcome.
How about any comments or any announcements from either Commissioner Albana or Commissioner Awasti?
Okay, I'll be next. I wanted to thank the city, of course, and also through the planning director who has also encouraged us to attend this academy. Please excuse my voice because of my allergy and the allergy season. I have lost my voice. But anyway, couple of things that I wanted to share because it's very important as commissioners, not only with the planning, but we appreciate the staff is this. My take is, with the emergency issues that we all go through, the city, all of us, it's very important to stay safe. Okay, so if I am safe, then I can help the city, I can help my community. So we learned that in one of our workshops to keep a safe environment, how we identify, prevent, and properly respond to things that happen in our workplace. So that's very important because it starts from there. And second take was, whenever we talk about service, it all starts from the heart. We met so many planning commissioners from different areas, counties, but the thing is the heart of service is there. And the second important thing is training and seminars, training and education. Because of what we do now, we understand better. Oh my gosh, it was so deep, all this CEQA thing, it was just like, ooh, I should take a course in college and go back to college. But when you learn it, the important thing what the city should do is really like the budget they've spent is the training and education helps us learn state and local regulations. And then we can now upkeep the vision of our community and residents. We could now uphold their vision. But again, if we serve with a heart for everybody, so the unity, how do we unify ourselves? And in doing that, we have to have a good relationship, not only among each other, with other planning commissioner, with the planning staff, and the council members. Because when we have a good relationship, we work better as a team than we pull against each other. But that's why we have to endeavor to have joint meetings, joint meetings, functional workshops, because we learn and then we can serve better because we have the understanding and knowledge so that we can hear and understand the big picture. So that's what I was so excited. But of course, I developed a deeper relationship of a business friendship with Commissioner Medina Asby and Awasti. So you see, it reinforces our goal to serve the community. So thank you. I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the food, the lunch, and the breakfast.
Yeah, that was really good.
I know. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Albana. Commissioner Wasti.
Thank you, Commissioner Mercedes and Sonia, for the wonderful comments. As you mentioned, we became very good friends, and we made a lot of friends over there. A lot of interactions with other commissioners from other cities, and how they do their housing needs. Especially the talk was about SB 9, the bill which passed in January. That was something important which we learned, that the housing split with the ADU coming up, and how we could split and make 2 units in a single family home. That was one takeaway. Besides, of course, the other bills like the laws, behavior, attitudes, and how the commission should be working, and especially listening to the experts who do the heavy lifting, like our staff. I must thank Director Thomas, Liz, everybody for sending us there. And it was a great experience. The food was good, of course. And if needed, we could go there again. And every time there is a different workshop, and one was mandated by the state, which we had to do. And there was a lot of learning involved. So I think we came back better equipped to deal with situations. And especially when they went with all the new laws which came up, we just heard about them, but now we could put them in use. We know when somebody talks of SB 9, what it is and what it entails. So it was, all in all, it was a very good learning experience. And thank you very much for sending us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wasti. By the way, I believe the issue on our echo might be coming from yours. So if you don't mind, if you're not speaking, just go on mute.
Yeah, I think this computer is giving problem. If you don't mind, I can log in on my cell phone, and
it's fine if you just go on mute. That way we don't have to.
Okay,
just go on mute, and then if you need to speak, just unmute. Thank you. So the only announcement I have is, today I myself and Vice Chair Ciardella, had the honor to be able to go to one of our previous meetings of the Planning Commission. We got to go to the Stratford School opening ribbon cutting. So I just want to congratulate the folks at the Stratford School. Okay. Okay. Next is Planning Director.
Thank you, Chair Chuan. Yes, I wanted to mention the ribbon cutting this morning at the Stratford School. It was very nice to see both you and the Vice Chair there, as well as some of our former planning commissioners. And it's a very nice facility, and it's always it's one of my favorite things as a planner when we look back and we think about the first meeting that we had with Stratford to talk about that particular location, and then all the subsequent meetings to work through various issues. And of course, bringing it to the Planning Commission for your discussion and approval, and then to see it come to fruition. And it's a really great new facility for the city. And I noticed that Stratford has started work on their third, what will become their third campus here in Milpitas, which is the old Osh site, Orchard Supply Hardware site, just across from City Hall. And they're working there to transform that building into a campus for, I believe it will be their preschool, kindergarten, and first and second grade. So progress continues. I will mention that at present we don't have any items for what would be your next meeting on April the 13th. I understand that I know our recording secretary, I believe the Chair Chuan mentioned that he will not be on. That happens to be spring break for Milpitas schools, and it just, serendipity. It happens that we don't have any items for that agenda, so we will likely be canceling that meeting. I am still looking for a date for a dinner when everybody is available. We do have an item for the second meeting in April, which is seems like it's still a ways off, but it seems like these meetings come up just as quickly as possible. So we will continue to work toward that second meeting in April. We do have several large items that are under review. Many of them are on hold. We're waiting for the applicant to respond to staff's comments. And so I do expect that we'll have a busy spring and into the summer. Two other items. We are working with the consultants on the Metro Plan, which is the update to the Transit Area Specific Plan, or TASP. We do expect to get what we're calling the screen check version of the draft plan tomorrow, and we'll circulate that within City Hall to the department directors for one last look. And we also expect to soon get a copy of the draft environmental impact report, which is really the next step. And then both of those documents will be released for public review sometime in April. We are scheduled to have a status check with the council at their meeting on April the what day did we do? April the 19th. So, and then those documents will circulate to the public and to other public agencies for their review. So I mentioned that because this was really our last step, and then we will be coming at some point, maybe as early as June, it may be August, we'll come back to the Planning Commission for a recommendation to council on that very important document, and then hopefully adoption by the council in the fall. So we're that project is rapidly wrapping up. As soon as it's done, or even before it's done, we'll start working on an update to the impact fees that will be based on the new plan. So plenty of work left to do in that area. And then just the last thing I'll mention is we have, as you know, begun work on the other specific plan, the update to the Midtown specific plan. We're now referring to that as the Gateway Main Street plan. And we hope to have an initial conversation with the council to get some direction on vision and to lay out our community engagement strategy to them also in April or May, likely in May. So I'll keep you apprised of that. So if you're interested, you can hear that initial discussion. And as they go along, there will also, of course, be a role for the Planning Commission in that project. So I'm happy to see the work continuing, and we have other long-range planning projects that are waiting in the wings. So trying to keep very busy, but we'll be bringing these other projects to you as they are completed. So thank you. And I'm really very pleased to hear that the three commissioners who attended the Academy enjoyed their time there. And I think that the timing couldn't have been better, particularly for Commissioner Medina Ashby and Commissioner Awasthi as you begin your work on the Planning Commission. And I think it's really great to mix and mingle with some of the other planning commissioners around the state and hear some of the interesting projects that they're working on. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I hope that it will be very helpful to you as we move forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you once again.
Thank you, Planning Director, and thank you to the commissioners. Next item is a public forum. Those interested are invited to address Planning Commission on any subject not on tonight's agenda, orally via Zoom webinar. Speakers may provide their name and city of residence for the recording secretary's record, and comments may be limited to 3 minutes or less. As an item not listed on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the Planning Commission, and no action can be taken. Planning Commission may instruct the staff to place the item on a future meeting agenda. At this time, Ms. Medina, is there anyone in the queue for wanting to speak for public comment?
There are no raised hands for public forum.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Medina. All right, next item, a public hearing. The India Heritage Foundation operational changes. Hand it over to Planning Director and Mr. Stark.
Thank you, Chair Chuan. Yes, we have a really great item tonight on our public hearing calendar. As noted in your staff report, this is an amendment to an existing conditional use permit, or CUP. There has been an existing religious assembly use at this location for a number of years. I wasn't aware of it until I saw this report, but it was recently, the space was recently acquired by a different organization, in this case, the India Heritage Foundation. And as they have moved into the location and are looking over the services that they provide, they've seen a need for an additional childcare center, an after-school heritage program, and also there is an existing commercial grade kitchen at the facility which they would like to use for takeout dining. So it's again, as our associate planner Avery Stark will show tonight, this is an expansion, not a physical expansion, but the addition of additional services at an existing facility, and so they need to amend their conditional use permit to allow these new uses to proceed. So I'll turn the time over to Avery for some of the details, and you can follow along with your staff report if you'd wish. Thank you. And Avery.
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, Director Thomas, fellow staff members, and members of the public. As Ned stated, my name is Avery Stark, and I'm an associate planner here with the City of Milpitas. I'll be presenting a conditional use permit amendment application for operational changes within an existing assembly use, the India Heritage Foundation, referred to as IHF, located at 680 East Calaveras Boulevard. Next. On June 3rd of 2021, the applicant submitted this application for a CUP amendment to expand the range of services provided for IHF. It's a 501(c) nonprofit organization that provides religious teachings, programs, knowledge of art, music, and culture to its community members. The organization is now proposing to add 3 new ancillary services to their existing religious assembly. First is a child care center for up to 80 children, ages 2 to 5. An after-school heritage program for up to 80 students, again, will be ages kindergarten through 8th grade. And a takeout food service program using the existing commercial kitchen on site. The proposed child care center and after-school heritage program will require no interior tenant improvements to the existing tenant space within the commercial office building. On-site improvements will be limited to the marking of existing parking lot spaces to create 10 unloading spaces and loading spaces for parents when dropping off or picking up their children. The loading spaces will be located at the rear of the building nearest the lobby entrance. The site features existing landscaping along Calaveras Boulevard frontage with approximately 147 parking spaces along the sides and rear of the building. The existing commercial kitchen will allow IHF to prepare and distribute takeout meals to community members and their families for a small fee.
Pardon me, Mr. Stark. Are you, so I realize we're currently on one slide, this application.
Yep, I'm still going. It's a lot.
Okay, all right.
No worries.
Okay,
yep.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if there was another slide. Go ahead, please continue.
No worries. The Milpitas Municipal Code requires a review and approval by the Planning Commission for a CUP amendment when the proposed modifications are significant enough to warrant discretionary review, hence the item being in front of you this evening, as there may be potential impacts to nearby users and shared parking arrangements to warrant the review of the Planning Commission. Next slide. I didn't want to make you read all of that, so I thought I would narrate a little bit. The project is located on a roughly 2.62 acre site on the south side of Calaveras Boulevard, across from the Milpitas Town Center Shopping Center, and is situated between the Hetch Hetchy right-of-way to the west and the Bank of America building to the east. Next. This is a zoning map indicating the site's zoning is TC or Town Center, and the project is surrounded by commercial uses as demonstrated on the map. Next. The project site is an existing multi-tenant commercial office building, and as proposed, there are no expansions of space or tenant improvements to the exterior of the building. So the proposed uses still remain consistent with the development standards of the TC Town Center zoning district. Next, thank you. The floor plan for IHF includes a lobby with access from an entrance on the south side of the multi-tenant building. The entrance is exclusive to the Child Care Center and the After School Heritage Program. There's also a secondary entrance to the exit on the north side of the building that will be exclusive for takeout dining and the existing religious assembly office spaces. The part-time Child Care Center will use the existing classrooms from 7 a.m. to 12 noon during the weekdays. The After School Heritage Program for students from kindergarten through 8th grade will be held in the same spaces in the afternoon on weekdays from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. The temple has an existing commercial kitchen where takeout meals will be prepared and sold as takeout for members of their family, community, or guests. A dining area for up to 10 people will also be available on site for any incidental or on-site eating as necessary. The takeout food will be open for guests starting after 12 noon and running until 2 p.m. It will not be open for sales during the child care or after school heritage program. And the takeout food service will not include commercial delivery. The existing temple programs and classes and services operate from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays. The administrative offices operate from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the temple services are held on Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. The same temple staff will also be responsible for cooking, cleaning, and selling food from the takeout store. Next slide. A two-way driveway at the east end of the project site provides primary ingress and egress for vehicles from Calaveras Boulevard. A second driveway behind the building at the southwest corner of the site connects through an adjacent surface parking lot to Los Coches Street, and a public sidewalk along Calaveras Boulevard provides pedestrian access to the site. There's also regular VTA bus service running along Calaveras Boulevard with transit stops near this site. All right, so the real kind of meat and potatoes of the discussion tonight is a demonstration of how the proposed 3 new changes and ancillary services still meet the parking requirements for the city of Milpitas. So as the table 5 demonstrates, we'll be able to meet the parking demand via a shared parking agreement to accommodate the current uses and the 3 additional services that IHF proposes in addition and in conjunction with their assembly use. The combination with these existing uses and the proposed additional 3 services would require a combined total of 247 parking spaces for the parking standards set forth in the Milpitas Municipal Code. The applicant proposes to maintain the existing 147 parking spaces. Per the municipal code requirements, the overall site is deficient by 100 parking spaces. The city's parking ordinance, there we go, thank you. The city parking ordinance allows a joint use parking arrangement when one or more uses is located on the same site, are complementary, ancillary, or support other activities on site. The joint parking use agreements recognizes that peak parking demands differ between daytime uses and nighttime/weekend uses, allowing such uses to share common parking facilities without creating parking conflicts. In this case, the proposed child care center, after school heritage program, and takeout dining services are ancillary to the existing religious assembly use, and available parking will be shared among all uses. Moreover, the primary religious assembly use, which requires the largest number of parking spaces, will only use the parking on weekends and during the off hours of other tenants on the same site. The 2 adjacent tenants in the building include an existing Kaiser Clinic and Davidia Dialysis Clinic. The 2 uses conduct business Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and do not hold regular business hours during evenings or on the weekends. As part of the original assembly use, the CUP that was approved back in 2002, the Planning Commission had determined that that mix of daytime uses and weekend assembly was appropriate for allowing a joint use parking agreement at this site. As the table demonstrates, that maximum parking demand throughout the week does not exceed the 147 parking spaces available on the site. The parking analysis demonstrates that even during the peak parking demand of a fully leased site, there will remain a parking surplus of anywhere from 19 to 24 stalls available across the shared site parking area. And therefore, based on the site shared parking provisions of the existing joint parking agreement, you can see as attachment D to the staff report, the existing site has sufficient number of parking spaces available to satisfy the increased demand for 3 new ancillary uses as proposed by IHF. And my staff report goes into greater detail, including a more continued detail analysis regarding the parking ratio breakdown for each of those uses, and you can reference table 4. Next. The findings, the proposed child care center will again not serve more than 80 children. The after-school heritage program will serve no more than 80 children. It will maintain designated loading and unloading parking spaces staffed by employees during pickup and drop-off hours to ensure orderly and efficient movement of vehicular traffic. So staff has been able to make the findings in the affirmative that the project is proposed will not be detrimental, injurious to the property or improvements in the vicinity, nor to the public health, safety, and general welfare. The proposed use is consistent with the Milpitas general plan, and that the proposed use is consistent with the Milpitas zoning ordinance and the Milpitas child care master plan. My staff report further details each of the findings and how they are to have been met. Staff has, next slide, please. Staff has also determined that the project be exempt from CEQA per section 5301 as an existing facility and section 15183 projects consistent with the community plan, general plan, or zoning. As of this evening, no comments have been received via phone, letter, or email to staff. Next. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission open and close the public hearing, consider the exemptions in accordance with CEQA, and adopt resolution number 22-004, approving conditional use permit amendment number UA 21-009, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval. This concludes the staff's summary of the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Stark at this time? I don't see any raised hands, which is fine. I see the, go ahead, Commissioner Albana.
Hi, thank you. I was going to ask Mr. Stark, do you have like a map of direction for the child care? What direction it's going to take going to the building and out the building? Will they exit through Los Coaches?
Yeah, so the lobby of the building, if Liz, there we go. So the lobby of the building is at the rear, opposite Calaveras, closest to Los Coaches, and that will be the primary and designated entrance and exit for the child care facility portion, along with the Heritage School. And that will be separate access in and out of the building from the office uses. So if you're looking at the diagram here at the top, closest to Calaveras Boulevard, you see that there is the office space for the existing staff, and to the left of that is the commercial kitchen. Those two are separate and independent entrances where children won't enter from, only individuals who are coming in to get takeout food. And at the bottom of your screen, closest to Los Coaches, will be the lobby area where children would enter for pickup or drop off, and that will be designated solely for that purpose. You couldn't and wouldn't be able to enter the lobby area to then walk through to the to the takeout area or to the office area. You would have to go around, walk around the building, and that's a requirement per the state of California's Department of Social Services that maintains that separation of the uses within the same building. So the primary entrance and the only entrance for children will be from the lobby area at the back of the building, where those 10 designated parking spots will be marked.
Thank you. How about the parking that they were going to share?
So the shared parking is all of the parking you actually see on the screen to the right, to the right and the left of the building and behind. That is the 147 spaces. So that's what's discussed in detail in the staff report as part of the shared parking being available given the different peak traffic flow from morning and PM and then afternoon of the different uses on the site.
And Commissioner Albana, if I could add to that really quickly, over at the site, it's very interesting. It's set up very well for this. The way the building is designed is that the Kaiser Clinic on the east side that you see on your screen here, most of the parking field for that use is that eastern parking lot. And then on the other side, on the west side, you have the DaVita dialysis, and the entrance to that use is on that side. So it uses that parking field on the far west side. And so during most of the day, it leaves all of that back parking lot for this use. Really, it's not divided up that way. It's all shared parking, but functionally, the rear parking lot is pretty much vacant during most of the day, and that happens to be where the entrance to the childcare facility will be. So that rear parking field, the majority of the parking on this site will be used or can be used for the childcare center because that's the closest parking to the entrance in the lobby.
I see the bottom arrow. Is that coming through the India Community Center? Or that's a passageway, right?
That's a street. It's an interior
street?
road that connects to Los Coches behind
I
it.
see.
Yes,
So that's
there's
just
another industrial. There's another building right behind it. It's just not depicted here.
I see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Director.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Albana. Any other questions from any of the commissioners? Okay, if there's no questions from the commissioners, Mr. Stark, does the applicant have any comments or any presentation they'd like to go through with us, or even the architect?
I don't believe they have a presentation, but I know we have the applicant and the architect on if they have anything they'd like to add to the Planning Commission before they render a decision. Liz, if you could reduce the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Good evening, Commission. Good evening, Mr. Thomas, the Planning Director. Yes, I don't really have too much to add to what Avery has already presented. I would like to just emphasize a couple of things. The number one thing is that the use here is an alternating use. So the preschool starts in the morning, finishes right before lunch. The lunch and the food service begins and then ends before the after school program starts, and then the after school program starts and then ends before the 7 o'clock hour, when potentially there can be some use from the temple itself. Throughout the day, when these uses are going, there is still a fairly significant 20 some parking space surplus. So we really shouldn't be over encumbering the site and its uses. The Indian Heritage Foundation is a religious practice, is a religious group, and the after-school program as well as the preschool program is really an operation to try to teach some of their religious practices and their religious beliefs to families within the community and families within the congregation itself. It's a really good program, and it has been growing, and it's a real bonus for Milpitas to have such a program. I think it's a real good use of the site as well. If there's any specific questions, I would be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Renshaw. Commissioners, any questions for either the applicant or the architect? Commissioner Awasti.
Pardon my computer, it'll be all right next time. I just have, I have a statement. I had been to this facility I had been there a few times, and particularly on Janmashtami, which is one of the biggest Hindu festivals celebrated by Hindus all over the world. And I was amazed to see the way they made all the arrangements. There were people coming in staggered. The parking was very well managed. The management was very, very good. So I'm pretty sure that the project they are taking over right now, whatever they are going to do, they are going to manage it very well. So this is and congratulations on that management. So I think they are going to do everything very well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Awasti. Any other questions from any other commissioners? Okay. If there's no questions, I do see some of the city staff on there as well. And, particularly, I note that Fire Marshal Jaime Garcia and also Deputy Fire Chief Jaime Garcia are on. Just wanted to hear if they had any particular comments or anything in regards to this project. I see that Deputy Fire Chief Zamora is on. Welcome.
Yes. Well, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and honorable members of the Planning Commission. I was Zamora, Deputy Fire Chief, Fire Marshal. What I will do say is that the new occupant is really benefiting from a building that's already been existing. I remember who the prior occupancy was back then. It was a religious facility that does meet all the fire life safety and fire protection requirements. So they are benefiting very well because the building is code compliant. So it's an easy transition for them. The fact that they're integrating the e-occupancy, which is the educational use. So for that, this is a good deal. I would also like to segue to Assistant Fire Marshal Jaime Garcia, if he can extend any other further, because he was the one that provided the oversight in the review of this plan. Chief Garcia.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Yes, in reference of the new proposed uses, the architect Wayne Rainshaw, we have worked with him on multiple projects, and then he does know that through the process, he will have to make an application through the building department for system upgrades and system verifications in compliance with the requirements for the new use, which is primarily the daycare and the educational factor, which is an e-occupancy. In addition, through the process in the review, we provide them, the applicant and the architect, an extensive list of the code sections that are applicable to this new use and project. So any questions usually come up, they're more than welcome to give us a call and we can work that out before we go through the actual permit process, as we need to basically update what we call the certificate of occupancy for that tenant space. And of course, through the process, we also do the field inspections to verify that all the systems, fire protection systems and life safety systems are up to par in reference to the codes. I'll be glad to answer any other questions that you may have or following up additional items.
All right. Thank you, Chief Zamora, Chief Garcia. Does any of the commissioners have any questions for either of our two staff from the fire department? Okay, if there's no questions, thank you. Thank you both. I will have you both continue to stay as this is a public hearing item. I just want to keep you on. So if there's no other questions for either Mr. Stark or the applicant, architect, or the fire department, this being a public hearing item, I'd like to open up the public forum. let's see, Miss Medina, do we have anyone that would like to speak? Let's see, we have, okay. Seeing that we have, looks like we have 4. Miss Medina, I'm going to limit the, oh, it's increasing here. I'm going to limit the time now to 2 minutes
Okay.
per public forum. So at this time, can you let me know who we have on queue?
Okay, let me get the timer started. Just a second. Let's see. Let's get our timer. Okie dokie. And first, a participant in the queue to speak is Urvish Kumar Mehta.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mehta. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much to Planning Commission, respective commissioners, vice chair and a chairperson, as well as respective school staff and applicant. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge the fact about the Indian Heritage Foundation, which is laying the stones for the Indian Heritage Foundation within the city of Milpitas. And having said that, the type of site they are trying to build, as it is going to be a place of a significance in terms of a social, recreational, and as well as religious festivity and events. It is important to note here that under such circumstances, it has to follow guidelines for managing the kids as well, because Indian Heritage Foundation is not just going to limit itself with content of activity that is limiting just to one generation. It's going to span a multiple generation. That includes the kids. So there are certain stipulations in the requirement as per the law that is required to be maintained for the youth and for the kids to develop, for the kids development within the foundation, as well as it is the significance of a building with the heritage. It is important to maintain certain building standards as well. Up to this extent, it is to note here that the parking is going to be shared between the complex. So it is important that they maintain the sanity of the parking during the events and how it is to be utilized during the hours, and as well as making sure about that they have the right set of resources to provide the guidelines on it as well. Also, it is important to identify the historical significance of that place, as well as it is going to be a place of an activity. Thank you very much for consideration of comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Ms. Medina, we have another speaker.
Yes. So next we have Vishu Konapalli.
Okay. Vishu Konapalli, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Vishnu Konapalli. I work at Cisco Systems, which is 3 miles away from the India Heritage Foundation. And I work as a volunteer at India Heritage Foundation for the Sunday worship services. And I got to know about the news about the new proposed uses. And I sincerely thank the guys for doing a great job, and more people will be benefiting out of it. And I'm a great foodie, which I can get the to-go services during my work hours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Konapalli. Ms. Medina, who's next in the queue?
We have Sadir Penuganda.
Thank you. Mr. Penuganda, you have 2 minutes. Wait till Ms. Medina resets the clock. Go ahead and reset, Ms. Medina. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Pana. Oh, did we lose him?
No, I think he's there.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You have 2 minutes. It looks like he's on mute.
Oh, shuck.
Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sudhir. I work at Sangage Learning, and I actually live in Milpitas. And along with my family, I regularly visit the India Heritage Foundation Temple on Sundays for worship services. I think these new uses will help me and my family immensely, because I really want our children to not just get good childcare, but at the same time cultivate good spiritual values as well. So, children are the future of this country, and raising them with proper values is of paramount importance. So I'm so happy for this project because of these reasons. and I'm excited to utilize these new facilities. So I would like to just appreciate the staff and all the commissioners for your positive consideration of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penagonda. Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes. Next, we have Pravina Gadam.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Gadam?
Hi, this is,
Yes.
hello.
Go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is Pravina Gattam, and I work at TIPCO Software. I live in Fremont, but I'm a visitor to this India Heritage Foundation. And I recently heard about this after-school care new use that being proposed at this India Heritage Foundation Center. And actually, I mean, frankly speaking, I have been looking for some kind of heritage education for my son. And I've been struggling to teach at home certain things on a regular basis. And this is very strenuous as well, teaching alone for children. So, but this after school, I think it will be easier for kids to learn very easily along with other children. So I'm really excited, and the temple is going to add this superb addition to this their use. So I'm really looking forward for it, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity and considering this project. Really appreciate your efforts. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Gadam. Okay, Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes, now we have Shijish NS.
Okay, Shijish NS, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, hi, my name is Shijish and I work at Google. I recently shifted from Cupertino to Milpitas, mainly because of the close proximity to the temple. And with the aftercare, I will get a very good chance for my daughter also to put the, because I want her to have the heritage of the exposure that we get in the temple. And so I'm very thrilled to have this after school program, and also getting a lunch at the temple itself. It's superb. So I just want to congratulate and thank you for encouraging this project. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shijish NS. Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes, we now have Hari Kishan Anam.
Okay, Mr. Hari Kishan Anam, you have 2 minutes.
Yes. Hi, this is Hari Kishan Anam, and I work at Cephite. It's a medical device company. And I live in Milpitas with my family, and I have 2 daughters, a 5-year-old and a 8-year-old. So for them, I was looking for this very good school and daycare, which close to our heritage. And I found this project is very good support for my need. And my child care with good spiritual knowledge, definitely they're going to gain out of this. And I want to thank you all for encouraging this project and supporting this need. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes, now we have Reka Produturi.
Okay, Reka Produturi, you have 2 minutes. As on mute, looks like. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. My name is Rekha Produturi. I work at Amazon, and I have 2 sons. We live in Milpitas. My sons are a teenager and a middle schooler, and both of them have participated in many youth seminars and retreats conducted by this organization. And they're very impressed with how good the staff is and how nice the classes are conducted. I think they'll do a great job in terms of connecting to younger generation, and I'll be very glad to if they can reach to more people and change their lives significantly from their young age itself. So I'm extending my full support for approval of this project, and thank you so much for all the staff and officials for supporting this. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Produturi. Okay, next in the queue, Ms. Medina.
Yes, next we have Vishal Gupta.
Okay, Vishal Gupta, you have 2 minutes. looks like Vishal went down to the bottom.
Oh.
Not sure what happened there. Okay,
Let's see.
there's
Oh, there.
Vishal again. Vishal came back up again. Okay.
She there?
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Oh,
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
So,
Actually, reset the clock. Okay, thank you. Give him 2 minutes. Go ahead.
yeah, my name is Vishal Gupta. I work at Google, and I live in Milpitas as well. So yeah, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I've been inquiring about various like preschool facilities for my daughter. And trust me, it's been really hard to find something that meets my requirement and budget and everything. So as I heard about this opportunity, I've been very excited that this is exactly what would be a very good opportunity for my daughter particularly. So yeah, I just wanted to express my support for this project. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gupta. Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes, we have Prarsuna Metasetti.
Okay, thank you. Prasuna Medisati, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Prasuna Mediseti. I work at Civic Actions Inc. I live in Milpitas. I'm eagerly looking forward to being able to pick up meals for lunch during work days. And I'm a very strict vegetarian, and I prefer food which is made with sattvic ingredients, and what we call in the mode of goodness, ingredients in the mode of goodness, according to the ancient Indian terminology. I personally know how they prepare food with quality ingredients at this location, especially importantly the good consciousness that people are in at that place. So this will be like a blessing to me with close access and my preferred choice of food. I think our community needs to encourage more and more such healthier options, for food. So thank you very much for encouraging this project and giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasuna Mediseti. Okay, Ms. Medina, next in the queue.
Yes, lastly, we have Rojarani Anhelneyulu. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly, but I will start the timer.
Oh, no worries, actually. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rojarani. I work at TIA. I live in Milpitas. I have 2 daughters, and I'm very choosy in exposing them to certain environments. And I think this falls well within what I consider to be an excellent option. Children need a positive engagement and less distractions. So India Heritage Foundation has a good credibility for nurturing positive values in children, and these uses will help parents like me to live more peacefully, while our kids are being well taken care of. So thank you for your positive consideration of this project.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Medina, anyone else in the queue?
There are no other hands in the queue.
All right, thank you, Ms. Medina. At this time, if there's no one in the queue, can I get a motion to close the public forum?
I move to close the public forum.
Okay, I got a motion from Commissioner Albana. Do I have a second?
Second the motion to close the public forum.
All right, and I got a second from Commissioner Medina Ashby. Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciardella.
Aye.
Chair Chuan is aye. So vote of 5, motion passes. Public forum is now closed. Okay. Any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners to? I'm going to start with the fire staff. From the fire department. Any questions for either Chief Garcia or Chief Zamora? Okay, if there's no other questions for either of them, thank you, Chief Zamora. Thank you, Chief Garcia, for joining. You guys, you both may leave. Give you some time back there. Thank you so much. Okay, and then And then finally, any questions for either the planning staff or the applicant or architect? Okay, if there's no questions for either of them, does any of the commissioners have any comments? Okay, if there's no any comments or deliberations, do I have any motions?
I make a motion.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Awasti.
I make a motion to approve the project.
If you don't mind, can you please read the up on the recommendation there, as stated there? You're on mute, Commissioner Awasti.
Open and close the public hearing.
Actually, the third item.
Adopt resolution number 22-004 approving conditional use permit amendment number UA 21-009 subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Awasti. Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Okay, we got a second from Commissioner Medina Ashby. Roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciarella.
Aye.
Chair Chuan is aye. Motion passes. Project passes. So congratulations to the applicant and the architect.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, and you have the opening. We'll all be there, like like the Stratford School. So we'd all like to come and see.
You're all most welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your consideration and your time.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the capital improvement program general plan conformity finding. I'm going to hand it back over to planning director as well as Mr. Erickson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'll just make really quick introductions. We have our engineering department director, Steve Erickson, as well as our CIP manager, Michael Silvera, here tonight. This is an annual presentation that the engineering department makes to the Planning Commission, and the role for the Planning Commission here is to make a finding of consistency with the general plan for all of the projects that are lined up in the next 5-year capital improvement program. And Mr. Silvera will provide details of those projects. Again, this is a regular item that's required to ensure that the projects that the city has lined up are consistent with our general plan. So I'll turn the time over to Michael.
Thank you, Ned, for the introduction. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Michael Silvera, the CIP Manager. The purpose for tonight's presentation is for the Planning Commission to review the proposed 2023-2027 Capital Improvement Program and to make the findings that the program is in conformance with the general plan. Next slide, please. Can we go back one slide to the agenda? Thank you. Tonight's agenda, I'll start off with an overview of the proposed capital improvement program. We'll take a look at how the CIP is in conformance with the general plan and then conclude with recommendations. Next slide, please. Now I'll give you an overview of the proposed 2023-2027 capital improvement program. Next slide, please. Here is the calendar for the CIP process. On February 8th, the proposed 5-year CIP budget was presented at the City Council study session. On March 7th, the park section of the proposed CIP was presented to the Parks, Recreation, and Council Resources Commission. Tonight, I will be presenting the proposed CIP to this commission for conformance with the city's general plan, and then staff will return to City Council on May 3rd for consideration and adoption of the 5-year CIP. And then the operating budget is scheduled to be adopted on June 7th. Next slide, please. The Capital Improvement Program is a 5-year budget that outlines capital improvements and associated expenditures. The document is updated annually and provides the anticipated schedule and funding sources for capital projects. The document is organized into 6 project categories: community, parks, streets, water, sewer, and storm drain improvements. Only the first year of the CIP is funded and becomes available July 1st. Please note the funding amounts shown in the outer 4 years are planned and are not funded at this time. The proposed 23-27 CIP document was provided to this commission for review, and the agenda report for this item includes details and specifics of the CIP document and how it conforms to the city's general plan. Next slide, please. Here are the City Council's 7 budget priorities. The CIP is in conformance with these priorities. Next slide, please. New projects and changes to existing projects are reviewed, prioritized, and ranked by the engineering and finance departments for conformance with City Council priorities, available funding, and resources. The prioritization list is developed and then discussed with the city's manager's office for recommendation to the City Council. The 9 criteria for ranking the funding requests are listed here on this slide. I will pause for a few seconds for your review. Next slide, please. The proposed 5-year CIP budget consists of 137 projects for an estimated amount of $202 million. There is a value of $74 million of insufficient or no funding available for projects in the outer 4 years. The chart shown here is a breakdown of estimated costs with associate number of projects for each category. Next slide, please. As mentioned previously, only the first year of the CIP is funded, and project funding becomes available July 1st. The proposed budget for this coming fiscal year, 22-23, consists of 38 projects for an estimated amount of $29.6 million. Approximately 70% of the funding will be dedicated to projects in the street and sewer categories. Notice the storm drain projects funding levels are low due to limited funding. Next slide, please. The next 4 slides, I will show the 38 projects that are being proposed to be funded in the upcoming fiscal year. Each table shows the project, the recommended funding amount, and the proposed funding source or sources. Here are the 14 projects in the community category being proposed to be funded for an estimated amount of $5.8 million. There are 5 new community projects being proposed to be funded this year, this coming fiscal year. Fire Station 1, module building replacement. The building is used as the EOC office and meetings for training purposes. The building has reached its end of its service life and requires replacement. GIS development and data collection will be a recurring project to upkeep, enhance, and maintain city's GIS system. Public safety mobile computer terminals. The project is to replace all computer terminals in the police and fire vehicles, which is essential to day-to-day operation to public safety in the field. The next project is the replacement of the audio-video system in the council chambers. And lastly, is for the AVAC repairs and upgrades in the public works and police building. Pause here for a few minutes, a few seconds. Next slide, please. Here are 4 projects in the parks category being proposed to be funded in the amount of $1.3 million for maintenance of park infrastructure. Note, Cardozo Park softball fields improvement projects will be funded to start the planning, community outreach, and preliminary design. Next slide, please. Here are 9 projects in the streets category being proposed to be funded in the amount of $8.5 million. Majority of these projects are for maintenance purposes. Approximately $3.2 million is to fund aspects of the South Milpitas Vehicle Bridge and Montague pedestrian overcrossing at Penitentiary Creek in the Metro Specific Plan. We are proposing to add 1 new project to this category for an annual street resurfacing project in fiscal year 26-27. The project cost is estimated at $4 million. Next slide, please. Here's a list of 7 water improvement projects for a total estimate of 1.8 and 4 sewer improvement projects for a total estimate of 12.1 that are proposed to be funded. These projects are primarily for maintenance purposes. Note the majority of the funding in the sewer category is the annual payment made to San Jose for the shared cost improvements to the wastewater plant. Pause here for a few seconds. Next slide, please. The economy and general fund forecast. During City Council budget study on January 25th, staff reported that it does not foresee a reduction in the current service levels based on new revenue information, labor contracts, and various funding and expenditures strategies. A balanced budget is projected for fiscal year 22-23 and thereafter until the anticipated Measure F sunsets. Due to the age of the city's infrastructure, such as parks, storm drain, public safety, facilities, and technology systems, which is primarily supported by the general fund, staff discussed the possibility of aligning the reserve policies to start addressing the long-term needs, including technology, infrastructure, and other critical city programs and services. Staff will bring forward recommendation to the city's reserves policies as part of fiscal year 22-23 proposed operating budget process. Next slide, please. Now we'll review how the projects in the capital improvement program conforms to various policy, goals, and actions of the city's general plan. Please refer to the agenda report for specific details. Next slide, please. The city's general plan identifies the community's vision for the future and provides a framework that will give decisions on city growth, development, and conservation of open space and resources in a manner that is consistent with the quality of life desired by the city's residents and businesses. Staff reviews and analyzes the projects in the capital improvement program to ensure the program is in conformance with and will further the goals, policies, and implementation strategies outlined in the General Plan 2040. In accordance with California Government Code Section 65401, it requires the Planning Commission to review and report to the City Council as to the conformity of the proposed CIP program with the adopted general plan. Next slide, please. For the next several slides, I will show several policy goals and actions that relate to CIP projects. I'll start off with community improvement category. We have found that Metro and Milpitas Gateway Main Street specific plans, comprehensive zoning ordinance updates, meet several land use, community design, and economic development policy goals and actions as shown on this slide here. Next slide, please. These projects listed on this slide are related to the safety element of the general plan. Valley Water District Creek Project. The district is continuing to work on Clara and Penitentiary Creeks to improve flood control. Fire station improvements, fire station number 2 replacement, public safety disaster plan, mobile emergency operation vehicle replacement, and public safety mobile computer terminal are projects that meet various emergency preparedness, policy goals, and actions. Next slide, please. Public art project. This project is primarily for maintenance of the city's public art collection. In addition, the Parks and Recreation Department will create a master plan to set goals and implement of the public art policy. The project complies with the community design element goals of public space and public art. Climate Action Plan Update and Community Senior Center Energy Resilient Project are projects that meet various climate action policy goals and actions. Next project, please. Under the parks category, citywide parks, sports field turf, minor sports courts, and opera park rehabilitation projects are for the maintenance and upkeep of the park facilities. Metro Tango Subdistrict Park, McCandless Park, and Cardozo Park sports field improvements are projects to provide a public space for activity, social interaction, and to serve the needs of the community. All these projects meet the goals and objectives of the Parks and Recreational Master Plan and complies with the Parks and Recreation and Open Space Element policy goals and actions are listed on this slide here. Next slide, please. In the street improvement category, majority of the projects comply with the policy goals and actions of the circulation element. South Milpitas Bridge Vehicle Bridge, Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing at Penitentiary Creek and Piper Drive are projects that will enhance safety and it improves network connectivity and facilitates bicycling and walking between communities. Traffic studies and minor improvements and citywide traffic safety assessment and modeling are projects that monitor traffic service levels and implement improvements. Next slide, please. The ADA Curb Ramp Transition Program, the annual street resurfacing project, street sidewalk curb and gutter repairs, streetlight signal and signage are projects that ensure maintenance of the transportation infrastructure for safety, bicycle, and vehicles. Next slide, please. The projects on the next few slides complies with the utility service element, policy and goals, and actions for water, sewer, and storm drain category. Under the water category, Metro Recycled Water Distribution is a project that reimburses developers to expand the recycled water system in the Metro specific plan. The Water Conservation Program is a project to increase water conservation according to the city's policies. Automated Meter Replacement Program and Water Leak Detection and Condition Assessment Program continues to monitor potential water loss in the city's water system. Next slide, please. Minor water projects, hydrant replacement program, and reservoir cleaning are maintenance projects to ensure water system is adequate. The well update project and the second water reservoir and pump station are examples of projects to provide adequate public infrastructure for existing and future needs. The well project is to maintain existing groundwater wells as a resource for energy and supplemental water supply for the city. The Water Master Plan update is a comprehensive study that defines the city's strategy for providing a reliable and sustainable water supply for the present and future. Next slide, please. Under the sewer category, San Jose and Santa Clara Regional Wastewater Facility is the annual payment for the city's share cost of improvements at the plant. Sewer pump station rehab program and minor sewer projects are maintenance projects to increase the lifespan of the system and ensure public safety. The Sewer Master Plan update is a comprehensive study that defines the city's strategy for providing a reliable and sustainable sewer system for the present and future. Next slide, please. In the storm drain category, Wrigley Ford Rehab, Dempsey Road Storm Drain Replacement, Flapgate Replacement, Storm Drain System Rehab, and on-call storm maintenance and repair services are projects for maintenance and improvements of the city's storm drain facilities. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, the Capital Improvement Program outlines a 5-year program for a variety of public infrastructure projects, and it includes associated timing, financing, and related details. As shown by the analysis incorporated into the agenda report and the presentation, the city's proposed 2023-2027 Capital Improvement Program is in conformance with the city's general plan. Next slide, please. Tonight, our recommendation to Planning Commission is to open and close the public hearing and adopt the resolution number 22-023, finding the proposed 2023-2027 Capital Improvement Program is in conformance with the City of Milpitas general plan. This concludes the presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Silvera. Thank you for the presentation. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Silvera? Someone have a question? Okay, if there's no questions, see, I actually had one question. There was one slide that just kind of caught my eye, and that was like going way back on one of the slides. You know, it showed the audio visual equipment in the council chambers there. I don't know if you know which slide I'm talking about there.
Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah. Number 10?
I think so.
Can you pull up the presentation, please?
Yeah, just the council chambers audio visual system replacement there. I don't know if you're able to, you know, provide some little bit of details around that in terms of the funding there.
Yes, I could. So currently the system is about nearly 10 years old, and the intent was to be more of a television broadcasting system. Well, since pretty much the pandemic put us at home, so they had to go into a hybrid format type of system, which really is not very compatible to what the existing system is today. So they need to do some upgrades there so that they can do you know, live streaming through the internet like we're doing today. So unfortunately, the purpose or the broadcasting of the current system is outdated and it has an end of service life. So there is a need for updating that system.
Okay. Yeah, I just know, like, you know, like if you were, you know, any like type of equipment, you know, I mean, in terms of, you know, the dollar value amount there, you know, I just wondering, you know, like, was there one particular item? I mean, it sounded like the whole overall needed overall overhaul on it. Is that
yeah,
correct?
It needs a whole new really the whole system has to be updated and kind of, I guess, ripped out and put in the new, from my understanding, from the IT director.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Any other questions from any of the other commissioners? Okay. No questions. How about any questions for, I see we also have another person on the, you know, from the city staff, engineering director, Steve Erickson. You know, I guess first, Mr. Erickson, do you have any comments or anything you wanted to add to Mr. Silvera's presentation?
No, thank you, Commissioner. No, Michael did a fine job.
Okay. All right. Any questions for any of them?
Chair Chuan, may I make one quick comment?
Yes, please.
As you see, the CIP every year is quite extensive, very detailed, and covers all different functions of the city. Of particular note for the Planning Commission, right at the beginning, I appreciate Michael putting us at the top. We had one slide that showed the current and new projects for the planning department, and you notice that the two specific plans were there. These are very large projects, large meaning very expensive. So those are included and have been included on the CIP for a number of years. As I said during my announcements, happy to say that the Metro plan is nearing completion, so that will remain on there for one more year, and we have a little bit of work, follow-up work that will continue to occur on that plan, and also the Gateway Main Street specific plan is underway. So as we continue with the work on those plans, we draw down on the amounts that have been set aside in the CIP for both projects, and then we've had for a couple of years now this comprehensive zoning ordinance update, and you'll notice in the actions below that one of the items specifically identified in the general plan is to update the zoning ordinance. After the new general plan was adopted last year, it really is the next step. The zoning ordinance is arguably the most important implementation tool of the general plan, and our zoning ordinance has not been we update it, as you know well, from time to time with ad hoc zoning ordinance amendments. So this will be a complete overhaul that will bring the zoning ordinance up to current zoning and planning practice, and land regulation practice, ensuring that our zoning ordinance is entirely consistent with our general plan. And so that's a very important project that will be coming up. We appreciate the additional money that has been allocated to this project in the current CIP, and hope to get that project underway before the end of the year. As soon as the now that the Metro plan is winding down, we have a little capacity that we can pick up on that project. So those, in addition to all the other projects that were covered by Mr. Silvera, these three plans in particular have direct relation to the Planning Commission.
All right, thank you, Planning Director. So if there's any comments or questions from the commissioners, this being a hearing item, a public hearing item, I'd like to open up the public forum. And Ms. Medina, I'll still keep it to the 2 minutes there. Do we have anyone in the queue for public comment?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have Urvish Kumar Mehta. Okay.
Mr. Mehta, you have 2 minutes.
Again, thank you very much to the respective commissioners, vice chair, chairperson, city staff, and as well as with regards to the task project applicant. Well, I wanted to specifically mention about that, how the Planning Commission and the respective commissioner are associated with the city of Milpitas. I'm also certain that some of the project that has been added by the city of Milpitas, a part of a CIP improvement plan, and as it was task plan, the funds are a government funds. So if there is any with respect to any road development or road development, there is a California Transportation Commission, and as well as the Highway Authority, which we know as a Caltrans. They're also equally responsible for the development of such within the city of Milpitas, as the roads are also part of those Transportation Commission and Caltrans Authority. Also to remember here that some of the items part of a building development, construction development that falls under the land usage. So Planning Commission is very much responsible for overseeing the development as well as the grant that has been allocated to such. In terms of a Planning Commission as well, any technological improvement that falls under the interfacing with the Planning Commission as well. So it is important to recognize that what are the fundings that is associated with the respective project and how it is being spent, and what are the grants that is available that is directly being influencing the Planning Commission interfacing with the rest of the commission. Also to remember that some of the environmental and the climate action change plan projects, they are also part of a California Energy Commission's CAPTI grant programs as well. So this grants all in all coming from the federal as well as state state grants, which is provided the specific allocation of funding to be spent on that. Any funding that is outside of that or being benefited to the government directly goes to the public interest and services. So important to have a financial results be reviewed on that. Thank you very much for consideration of comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Ms. Medina, is there anyone else in the queue?
Chair, there are no other community members in the queue. Thank you.
Seeing that there are no other members of the public in the queue, can I get a motion to close the public forum?
Motion to close the public forum.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Ciardella. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second from, I heard Commissioner Albana. I'm going to do roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Wasti.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciardella.
Aye.
Chair Chuan is aye. Motion passes. Public forum is now closed. Okay, going back to the item at hand. Any final comments or questions from any of the commissioners? If there's no comments or questions from the commissioners, can I get a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Okay, go ahead, Vice Chair Ciardella.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution number 22-003, finding that the
Vice Chair Ciardella, can you read the number one more time, please?
Sure. Resolution number 22-003, finding that the 2023-2027 capital improvement project is conformance with the city's general plan.
City Attorney, just want to make sure that it's okay. I mean, he added another zero in according to what's on the screen. Is that an issue?
Actually, the reso number is 22003, and I forgot to update Mr. Salvera on his but Vice Chair Ciardella has it correct.
So he has it correct. Okay, thank you for the correction, Ms. Medina. Okay. My apologies, Vice Chair, just, just going by what's on the screen and you're reading it from the correct place. So do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, and we got a second from Commissioner Albana. I'm going to do roll call vote. Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ciardella.
Aye.
Chair Chuan is aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Silvera, and thank you, Mr. Erickson.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. All right. Thank you. Next item is new business. Seeing that there's no new items, I will read the legalese. Any person aggrieved by any final decision of any board, commission, or department head to the city of Milpitas may appeal the decision to the City Council by filing a written notice of the appeal with the city clerk within 12 calendar days of the date of said decision and paying the required fee. This time limit shall be strictly enforced. Next item is adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I got a motion from Commissioner Wasti. Do I have a second?
Second.
And second from Vice Chair Ciardella. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No one opposed. All right, everyone, meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much for your time. You all have a great evening and see you at the next Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thanks.